Continuing from the previous episode 1970. Woohoo! At this time, countless stones had already broken apart on the square, and one after another conspicuous cracks emerged from the square. The void distorted and burned, and the 7-color lotus seeds were quietly suspended in midair, a chain of reincarnation fire tens of thousands of feet in size, quietly crawling. Looking at the 7-color fire chains so close at hand, Yan Feng was shocked. Cold sweat and fear swept out uncontrollably, and even his face became extremely ugly. "Break me!" Before Yang Feng could make any move, Xiao Yan's voice, like a thunderous thunder, completely spread here. Zhu! Xiao Yan's voice fell, and the 7-colored fire lotus completely drained Xiao Yan's last remaining vindictive qi, and immediately broke away gently, whistling away towards Yang Feng. For a time, on the 7-color lotus seeds, the gorgeous 7-color colors evolved into a dazzling luster, and the sound of space breaking up continued to sound, and the 7-color lotus seeds were surrounded by countless 7-color flame beams, like guards. Firmly protected. And along the way, all the flowers, trees, and even the air that were touched by the 7-color beam of light were instantly turned into dust, and there was no way to fight back. Seeing this scene, Yan Feng shook his head suddenly, and finally underestimated this guy, but he knew that the most terrifying part of the 7-color fire lotus was probably the lotus seed itself. The blessing of the 7 holy flames is enough to threaten his life. Lock me up. With a raised arm, the profound fighting spirit in his body was like a long river, directly pouring into the chain of fire in the square, trying to compete with it. Chi Cheng Chi! The fire chain burst out with a very harsh sound, and shot directly at the 7-color lotus seeds, and the surrounding space was directly pierced by it. Obviously, this guy's attack is by no means child's play. But the strange thing is that no matter how roaring and turbulent the chain of fire is, when it touches the whole body of the 7-color lotus seed, it is suddenly bounced away. Obviously, the power of the two is not on the same level after all. How is that possible? At this moment, Yan Feng's original dignified expression was replaced by a stunned expression. This was his strongest blow. If this level of attack was useless, I'm afraid. Want to run? Too late. Since you have grievances with our strong Shao family, as a junior, I would be happy to give you a ride. By the way, since you are proud of your immortality, then I will beat you to pieces. 7-color lotus, bloom. Xiao Yan roared violently, the madness in his voice was hard to contain. Boom! At that time, the entire plaza suddenly shrank at first, and immediately stopped beating like a heart, and after the blink of an eye, it suddenly spread, and there were countless waves of flames that destroyed the world. Shocked by Xiao Yan's roar, and the countless 7-color beams of light pinning his body firmly, Yan Feng could only retract the 10,000 zhang chain of fire, trying to form a tyrannical defensive barrier around his body. The 7-colored fire lotus just exploded, and the 10,000 zhang chain of fire in front of Yang Feng was directly swallowed up by its 7-colored flames. Immediately, he stood on the execution ground like a criminal, allowing him to be slaughtered. Yang Feng's body was penetrated by countless 7-color beams of light, but because he possessed an immortal magic technique, there was no change in it, but the pores on his body suddenly shrunk, and the power of belief weakened a lot. Resist me! Seeing that the power of belief in his body was weakening, Yan Feng didn't dare to hesitate. In his old body, endless vindictiveness was vented, trying to protect himself. It's a pity that the power contained in the 7-color fire lotus far exceeded Yang Feng's imagination. After the continuous attack, the core energy of the 7-color fire lotus, like a white halo, broke away from the center of the explosion and swept directly towards Yang Feng. Above the sky, only a meteor-like white flame light group could be seen, with the flame breath of divine power, illuminating the entire square, and even the 2 dark red coffins, which trembled slightly. Boom boom boom! Seeing this, Yan Feng was helpless, a terrifying aura emerged, and then a mighty Sanskrit sound spread out completely, and with it, there was a heat wave that spread out. Btth2, the scorching temperature and the divine breath. In just one breath, most of the hilltop plaza was destroyed. The empty space in the plaza, which was full of holes, was now distorted. However, the black stone and its seal formation were intact. Are you all right? Xu Shuiying directly protected Xiao Yan with the blessing of her black lines when this attack spread, and immediately asked with concern. It's okay, Xiao Yan said reluctantly, quote. This destructive explosion lasted for several minutes, and then it slowly subsided. However, as the aftermath of the battle dissipated, a bottomless dark abyss appeared in the plot where Yangfeng was located. At the entrance to the abyss, there are still some extremely hot flames remaining. Bang bang bang. Just when Xiao Yan and the two were hesitating, a dark red coffin exploded directly above the sky, and a dense white bone was turned into powder under this explosion. As expected, the guess is correct. Seeing this scene, Xiao Yan couldn't help but laugh. It seems that this so-called undead magic has many restraint methods. Xiao Yan is relieved now. By the way, where is Xu Shao? The next moment, Xiao Yan asked. Where is he? Su Shuiying heard the words, took back her holy flame, and immediately took Xiao Yan to a relatively safe place. What's the situation? Seeing this, Xiao Yan asked Xu Shao with his eyes closed, his breath rising and falling, and he wondered. He seems to have entered the realm of reincarnation. Su Shuiying guessed. Since that's the case, Xiao Yan heard the words and placed 10 seals around him in a row. Among them, the Do Chi soul formation was complete. After finishing everything, he held the ancient ruler behind him, and a smile appeared. It's useless. I just tried it. Seeing Xiao Yan's move, Su Shuiying shook her head. Crack. With a sound, the ancient ruler above Xiao Yan's arm shone brightly. Under the shroud of colorless flames and holy patterns, it directly cut Xu Shao's soul body in half in front of him, and countless vitality disappeared. Boom! Following Xiao Yan's move, the clouds in the sky of the square started to wriggle in a weird way, and then 3 figures fell one after the other. Feng Wan'er, Yan Yan and Xu Shao. It's just that now the 3 of them are covered with scars, and even Feng Wan'er's eyes showed a chilling aura when she saw Xiao Yan, and Xu Shao also shrank his pupils tightly and looked at Xiao Yan with great resentment. Roared heart-rending, little bastard, I'm going to kill you. Holy flame burns the soul. It's over for Xu Shao. Xiao Yan didn't care about this, and with the last bit of grudge, he summoned Sheng Yan and violently burned Xu Shao's soul body with a sword and a second rank. For a time, a roar of ghosts and wolves spread out, and Xu Shao's breath dropped rapidly. There were faint signs of falling, and even the last dark red coffin above the sky, there were also cracks emerging. I'm afraid this time, things should end. Please remember this book's first domain name. Tang San Chinese website mobile version reading website. Continuing from the previous episode 1971. The heart-piercing roar was slowly vented here. Suddenly, Xu Shao, who was beside Yan Yan, flew back to the 2 soul bodies with the momentum of thunder. The soul body that was cut off by Xiao Yan was spliced together again, but unfortunately he still underestimated the power of the holy flame and the ancient ruler. Little bastard, I will definitely not let you go next time. The blood-colored pattern had just returned to the soul body, and suddenly the 2 soul bodies showed signs of fusion, and even Xiao Yan's holy flame weakened. An eerie voice emerged. Seeing that Xu Shao was about to kill Feng Wan'er, the key to the guardian in the past, the perfect 8-star Do Xian Yangfeng, was directly suppressed by Xiao Yan, which was something Xu Shao never expected. Peefed. With a sound, Xiao Yan imprisoned Xu Shao's second group's soul body, and 10 seals squirmed together. No matter how tyrannical he was, he couldn't break it. Tell me, what are these undead magic and resurrection magic? Xiao Yan enveloped the souls of Xu Shao's last 2 groups with holy flames and said slightly, with a rare touch of perseverance in his voice. Go and dream. Soul self-destruction. Xu Shao snorted coldly, the blood-colored lines directly transformed into countless energy, and then vaguely ignited the second group of soul power, ready to explode. Soul flame, swallow it for me. Xiao Yan snorted coldly, and a strange ghost-faced soul flame spread out from the amber flame. Half of Xu Shao's soul power was completely annihilated. The guys in the Soul Palace are just a group of old men. They will naturally understand what I am doing in the future. Peefed. After Xu Shao said all of this, his body actually trembled, and then the blood-colored lines suddenly burst out with a faint force, turning into a pool of blood. That short-lived power not only contains the power of faith, but also the power of foreign evil races. Damn, I'm careless. Although Xiao Yan made his move in time, he was still a step too late. However, this Xu Shao is the body of the soul, and there is no corpse. I am afraid that this time it is a real fall. Even this kind of strange resurrection magic cannot be completely resurrected. Of course, Xiao Yan has no problem with this kind of problem. Is also half understood. Haha, the strength of the guardians of the Shao family today can be regarded as a taste. It is really extraordinary. As expected of the guardian known as the steward of the Shao family. At this moment, with the complete fall of Xu Shao, the quiet Yan Yan's body became vaguely illusory, and immediately smiled. A sense of vicissitudes emerges. This is? Su Shuiying wondered. The caster should be Xu Shao. Now that the caster is dead, this sorcery is on the verge of collapse. I can't imagine that it can kill the caster because of sorcery. But what does this guy seem to want to tell us? Xiao Yan murmured, and even Yan Yan's eyes no longer had the violence of the past. Instead, there was a touch of softness. If that's the case, then get out of here. You are not welcome here. Feng Wan'er heard the Shao clan two people in Yan Yan's mouth, and the chilling air became more arrogant, and snorted coldly, with a dissatisfied look. Hey, although I'm about to disappear, it's just because of my mind. I advise you here to be careful of the center of the human world and the asterisk world. And this kind of resurrection magic, according to my memory when I woke up, it's not just the few of us. Of course, the Soul Palace and Soul Clan today seem to be very different from the past, but I can't say it specifically. I'm afraid you still need your own. Go and explore. Today's Soul Palace is no longer the Soul Palace. It's like some big man is controlling and guiding. Also, the relationship between your Shao clan and the Guardians, I am afraid that some people are deliberately provoking. I hope you don't fall for it. Yan Yan pretended to be lofty and said, obviously his long-cherished wish was only to compete with the strong Shao clan. Fighting against each other, but fighting against Feng Wan'er today. Let him resolve all these worries, and when he completely fell, he couldn't help but say to the few people in front of him. Because the Shao clan is a giant race from ancient times to the present, Yan Yan can be regarded as a deadly enemy, but even so, he is not the same as the Shao clan's decline. Too much. Die. Hearing Yan Yan's words, Feng Wan'er raised her hand slightly, and an extremely cold arrow of ice burst out, piercing through the void and hitting Yan Yan easily. Peefed. With a sound, Yan Yan's body and coffin turned into powder all over the sky and disappeared here. At the same time, this time, the plan also ended with Xu Shao's fall. The other guys who were resurrected also disappeared with Xu Shao's fall, but why was Xu Shao able to summon and resurrect several people? Why can the resurrection magic be realized? All kinds of mysteries are also submerged underwater. For a time, this mountain area where the Guardians live has regained its due tranquility, but these few days of battle, I am afraid it will take a lot of time to recover. At this time, the top of the mountain was on the plaza, and the breeze was blowing. On the entire mountain plaza, there were only 3 people. The 3 faced each other quietly. No one spoke first, but the other 2 were aware of the turbulent energy in Feng Wan'er's body. The evil spirit, and the source of this evil spirit is clearly Xiao Yan. Mother. After a long time, Su Shuiying spoke softly. She knew the character and resentment of the mistress, and also knew that once Xiao Yan's true identity was revealed, she would probably die without a place to be buried. Relief. Cher, go back. I still have something important to know with your friend. Feng Wan'er's body slowly turned her back to the past, and an unquestionable and majestic voice came out. You go. At this moment, looking at the mistress with such a determined attitude, Su Shuiying came to Xiao Yan and spoke slightly. I won't go. Xiao Yan shook his head and said, although he has little vindictive energy left in his body now, but the matter has reached the current stage, obviously as a descendant of the Shao family, Xiao Yan has no shirk. But then you will die. Su Shuiying couldn't help roaring. Xiao Yan helped her several times. She must not be a ruthless and unrighteous person. Her eyes were red. She obviously couldn't understand why Xiao Yan would question this. But I have to do it. If you want to ask why, it's probably because I'm a man. And he's still a descendant of the Shao family. Xiao Yan's voice was low and contained a rare calmness, which drifted away for a long time. As Xiao Yan's voice fell, a murderous aura that suffocated Xiao Yan suddenly solidified the entire void on the old man in front of him. Opening parenthesis, closing parenthesis. Please remember this book's first domain name. Tang San Chinese website mobile version reading website. Continuing from the previous episode 1973. In the mountain range where the Guardian lives, there is a stone wall. On the stone wall are clearly depicted many figures of the Shao family. Among them, the figure of the Shao family patriarch is the most magnificent. At the same time, this guy is also the guy that Feng Weiner hates the most. Xiao Yushan. Looking at the phantom that appeared above Xiao Yan's head, Feng Weiner's pupils shrank tightly, and an extremely terrifying anger erupted like a volcano. A large part of Feng Weiner's hatred of the Shao family came from this Shao family patriarch. As for the specific reason, Feng Weiner did not tell the guardian. He, little guy, you really have the guts. Listening to Feng Weiner's roar, the phantom old man first smiled at him. He didn't expect Xiao Yan to finish it so quickly. Senior, you have hurt your descendants. Xiao Yan forced a smile and replied. Obviously Xiao Yan didn't know that the patriarch of the Shao clan had a trace of power left in him, otherwise he wouldn't have to fight so much. Cough cough. It's true that we were wrong about what happened at the beginning. I'm sorry, Zhaofeng. The phantom man smiled lightly, and then looked at Feng Weiner, who was in anger. His voice was full of sincerity, as if he was really admitting his mistake. Xiao Yushan, what qualifications do you have to step in here? What right do you have to say sorry? At the beginning, we were the guardians, thousands of elites, helping you Shao clan to maintain order in the clan with all their hearts and manage countless vassal races, but what about you? It became more and more intense, and it had a vague tendency to break the sky. Its voice became hideous, her chest heaved violently, and she roared. She wanted to smash Xiao Yushan into 10,000 pieces. I don't know the specifics of what happened at the beginning, because after the end of the war between heaven and earth, we were busy dispersing around, going to clear the residual evil of the extraterritorial evil clan in our respective realms. When we turned around, the guardians were dead and injured. Exhausted, and we just wanted to find the murderer, but were attacked by a mysterious powerhouse, so. Xiao Yushan's phantom voice contained a deep self-blame and a hint of hesitation, as if all this was done by someone else's calculations middle. At the beginning, the Shao clan paid a very heavy price to deal with the extraterritorial evil clan. After the end of the First World War, after the power of the extraterritorial evil clan was suppressed and expelled, Xiao Yan suffered an unprecedented attack, whether it was a vassal race or a guardian. None were spared. Not sure? Our guardian lineage did our best to rule the countless vassal racial forces for your Shao clan, but in the end they were all executed by you. Am I wrong? Feng Weiner pressed hard step by step, roaring. In the voice the monstrous anger contained in it is also difficult to contain. In the beginning, whether it was our Shao clan or the guardians, I always felt that something was wrong, because it was too strange, I suspect. Xiao Yushan spoke softly, trying to calm Feng Weiner's anger. You doubt? Don't doubt it. It was none other than you, Xiao Yushan, who led the army to attack and kill our guardian back then. Behind Feng Weiner, there were thousands of cold runes, surpassing too many forces in the world. Will instantly turn into dust. Impossible. There must be some misunderstanding in this. Xiao Yushan heard the words. The phantom body was also suddenly shocked, and there was a hint of contemplation in the dark pupils, and he denied it directly. As the patriarch of the Shao clan, he leads countless powerhouses, and is in charge of the order of the clan, but he knows that no one in the Shao clan can do something that is diabolical. Ha ha ha. Impossible? Among our guardians, several great masters of samsara were personally beheaded by you. Countless of us saw it with our own eyes. When they fell, they personally confirmed your strength. Whether it is strength or appearance, they are exactly the same as you? What's your quibble now? Feng Weiner roared. The cold rune behind him has been brewed, and he directly questioned. At that time, the patriarch of the Shao clan brought some elites and attacked them at night. At that time, she was just a baby in the swaddling clothes. Countless flames and blood spilled out, roaring and crying, and even the remaining guardians. Among them, countless close relatives fell in that killing. Damn, you are too angry now. I'm afraid this matter can only be discussed in the long run. I won't let you let this attack go. Xiao Yushan shook his head slightly, and immediately said, he knew that Feng Weiner was furious now. No matter what she was talking about, she wouldn't listen, but it was clearly impossible. Do it yourself. No need, this hatred never ends. As long as I, Feng Weiner, live in the world for one day, I will kill all your descendants of the Shao family. Suffer to death. Feng Weiner's voice was extremely sharp, and then the ice rune behind her shook gently, projecting it directly at Xiao Yushan above Xiao Yan's head. In an instant, the situation changed color, and countless cracks in the size of 10,000 zhang emerged, and the void was directly twisted and shattered by it, and a touch of power shocked everyone's hearts. What the asterisk is going on here? Xiao Yan heard the words and looked at the two who were fighting in the sky, and was immediately confused. The guardians of the Shao clan are like housekeepers, helping the Shao clan manage the countless vassal races in the lower realm, but why did the Shao clan kill them? Is there any misunderstanding in this? Or did someone do it maliciously? But it can cause misunderstandings or even misunderstandings among the great masters of reincarnation. Is there really that kind of power or divine object in this world? Mistress, you have also seen Yan Yan's resurrection immortality sorcery just now. The grievances from 10,000 years ago are very likely to be a misunderstanding. After a while, Su Shuiying frowned and roared loudly. The family also hates it very much, but now with Xiao Yan's actions and Xu Shao's appearance, she has regained a lot of sanity. Fall for me. At this time, Feng Wan'er couldn't listen to any poison. The extremely cold ice talisman, like an ice flower, bloomed completely in a very gorgeous appearance. In an instant, the entire void was completely shattered, and countless cracks emerged one after another. The rest is up to you. At this moment, Xiao Yushan slowly shook his head, and his body suddenly swelled. Protecting Xiao Yan and the two in one fell swoop, he muttered. The aftermath spread for a few minutes before it was completely over, and in the entire space, a breath of awakening like a giant dragon emerged from the shattered void. There are many young people who have just come out of the retreat, but more of them are old people, even 7 stars or even 8-star fighting immortals. There are several. At this moment, they were suspended in the air, their eyes slowly looking towards the top of the mountain, and even when they saw Xiao Yan's body, a shocking killing intent swept out. Please remember this book's first domain name. Tang San Chinese website mobile version reading website. Continuing from the previous episode 1974. That's. Several of the guardians who had just woken up looked at Xiao Yan's weak body with bright eyes, and a familiar aura filled their hearts. They are very familiar with that kind of breath. It is clearly the breath of the Shao clan. Mother. Not long after, dozens of guardian figures appeared on the top of the hilltop square at the same time, and said softly, but their eyes were staring at Xiao Yan with a vicious look, wishing to eat Xiao Yan raw. Wake up all the guardians and jointly punish the people of the Shao clan in front of you. Feng Wan'er shook her head slowly. Obviously the attack just took a lot of strength, but now the hatred for the Shao clan has been reduced a lot, just because there are a lot of guardians behind him. It's hard to say it clearly. Mother, this matter may be very strange. I hope you think twice. As Feng Wan'er spoke, Mo Zi took the initiative to resign for Xiao Yan. Mother, things are definitely not what we imagined. Why don't we go to the underworld to investigate things clearly? Su Shuiying pondered. As guardians, they are naturally aware of the relationship between the Shao family and the underworld. Isn't the underworld so easy to step into? I've made up my mind. Let's do it. Feng Wan'er finished speaking, her palm was raised, and she pointed at Xiao Yan lightly, and a touch of ice force immediately bound Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan only felt that his body trembled, and even his soul was frozen by it. Senior Feng, I believe you are a sensible person. Senior Xiao Yushan just said that even though the leader of the group who killed the guardian is exactly the same as him, the Great Thousand World has become too big, and there is no guarantee that there is any god. Things can have this kind of weird power. Xiao Yan said, what happened just now, like this? As Xiao Yan's voice fell, Su Shuiying said everything that had just happened to the dozens of people behind her who were very hostile. Are we really deceived? Will there be any hidden feelings in it? Su Shuiying just finished speaking, and the eyes of the strong men also turned to face each other. If Senior Feng feels that the anger in his heart is hard to dissipate, the junior is willing to bear this anger alone. Xiao Yan spoke slowly, with a rare calmness in his voice. Fortunately, these guys are the guardians of the Shao family, and the Shao family is ashamed of them. Otherwise, with Xiao Yan's character, once the power of the Holy Flame Demon is displayed, even if it is as tyrannical as Feng Wan'er, she will be buried with her. Mother, what Xiao Yan said is reasonable. After all, there are such great powers as Ksiddhartha King Bodhisattva in the asterisk world, and they all have phantoms in their hands that ordinary people can't recognize. Giggle. Since Xiao Yan said so, It's better to make an agreement to expose this grievance and wait for the truth to be revealed in the future. It will not be too late for a complete liquidation. Xu Shuiying had a clever move and defended Xiao Yan. What do you think? At this time, Feng Wan'er's rage in her heart also weakened a bit. Thinking about it carefully, it seemed that it was just as they said. The death penalty is exempt, but the living crime cannot escape. One move doesn't work. 3 moves, after all. We don't want to crawl under a guy who has no power to hold a chicken. After a few dozen people behind him discussed it, they said in unison. The descendants of the Shao clan, the younger generation, are willing to accept the 3-stroke appointment of the seniors, in order to vent the fire in the hearts of the seniors. Seeing this, Xiao Yan hurriedly opened his mouth when he saw that things had turned around, but still muttered to Xiao Yushan in his heart. Why bring such drudgery to yourself? Okay, can. Boy has courage. Hearing Xiao Yan say so, and adding that Xiao Yan had paid a great price for them just now, everyone also said for a while. Marvin Yi, the first move is up to you. Feng Wan'er nodded lightly and said to a seemingly lean middle-aged man behind her. The man behind him heard the words, nodded slowly, and walked out immediately. Under Marvin Yi, the suzerain of the Yi clan, and the mid-stage strength of the 8-star fighting immortals, if Brother Xiao Yan can take this blow from me, all the grievances will vanish. In the future, Mrs. Yi will also let him be dispatched. The man who walked out of the crowd, in blue robes, exuded a rather elegant aura, like a scholar. The ancestor of this guy fell under the hands of Xiao Yushan, but due to the many mysteries now, he was relieved. Yes, Xiao Yan couldn't help but wonder. There are only 10 guardians who live here now, and most of the others are the leaders of some tyrannical races under the vassal of the Shao clan. Although they are hidden, they still have the absolute right to speak once they return to the sect. Mistress is here. Help you. Seeing this, Xu Shuiying couldn't help but smile slightly, and sent a voice transmission to Xiao Yan's soul. HMPH. Seemingly aware of Xu Shuiying's actions, the mistress frowned and snorted coldly. Wu la la tilde. Xu Shuiying grimaced at him and said happily. Senior, let's do it. Xiao Yan untied the ice shackles on his body and said after moving a little. You have just ended the war now, so today is a bit. I think it might be better to pick it up tomorrow. Seeing Xiao Yan like this, Marvin Yi frowned and said with a smile. Thank you for your kindness, Senior Yi, but you don't need to worry. Xiao Yan smiled slowly. Okay, has domineering. Worthy of being a descendant of the blood of the Shao family. Pick me up. Hein Tianong. As he spoke, a delicate jade flute emerged from Marvin Yi's palm, put it to his mouth, and used both his hand and his mouth. One after another of refreshing and pleasant rhythms filled the entire peak square. This Mr. Yi is actually a powerhouse of the sound attribute. Seeing this, Xiao Yan's pressure increased greatly. He only felt that countless energies were being deprived of his body, and a dizzy feeling spread throughout his body. Crane tone, go. Not long after, countless green rhythm energies instantly formed a green crane shadow, reaching a height of thousands of meters, with an unparalleled Xeon aura, and immediately waving the huge crane wings covered with countless notes, beheading Xiao Yan. Dragon God's first transformation, second transformation, third transformation. Seeing this, Xiao Yan displayed the Dragon God within his body, and his body's defense was greatly increased. Even the scales of the underlords quietly lay down on their arms, forming a path and impregnable terror defense. Boom boom boom. A muffled thunder-like voice hit Xiao Yan directly, leaving countless horrifying blood-colored ripples, but this Hein didn't hold back for long before Xiao Yan broke through. What a perverted kid. My Mrs. Yi, I am also willing to help you again. Seeing Xiao Yan's appearance as if he was unscathed, Marvin Yi smiled cheerfully. Junior thanked Sect Master Yi. Xiao Yan nodded and smiled, but his body became a little disordered because of the sound of the crane. Among the Guardians, there is a very high prejudice against the Shao family, and the 2 diehards are the most difficult to deal with. They are the ones you will deal with next. Yan, Elephant Jiazong and Wan Yuan Gui. Seeing Xiao Yan's victory, Xu Shuiying said through her soul transmission. This guy seems to be releasing water. It seems that the real trouble is still behind. Xiao Yan nodded slightly to Xu Shuiying to express his gratitude. But even Xiao Yan didn't know, when did this girl treat her so well? At first, it wasn't that he wanted to fight and kill. and he looked resentful that he was abandoned by the children of the Shao family, but now he has become such a small family Jasper, which really made Xiao Yan dumbfounded. The first move is so simple, I am afraid that the next two moves are the real highlight. Please remember this book's first domain name. Tang San Chinese website mobile version reading website.